Hey everyone, in the video today we're going to go for a hike in a gorge in search of a hidden waterfall which really hasn't been photographed before. This thing caught my eye when looking over some satellite imagery and the maps, and I'm just really curious to get in there and see if we can find this thing and hopefully create a nice image. I've got my friend Ben joining us on the adventure, and as always your likes and comments are much appreciated and they help the algorithm and the channel to grow, so thank you for that. Alright, let's get into it. So you can see here on the satellite imagery, this is a massive waterfall that I'm in search of, following up this gorge. I photographed the lower portion of the gorge before, but then looking at the satellite, that's where I noticed this huge fall. So we're going to continue up further. We've probably got about 1.5 km, almost 2 kilometers of hiking. So let's see what we can find. So Ben's left his boots behind. He's in the classic Southland attire of the red band gumboots. We'll see how long he can hold up before the socks get wet. Just making our way up the creek now. It's a curiosity which keeps me going on this stuff, keeps it interesting. Just wondering what we're going to find, if anything. It's definitely something up there, but whether or not we can access it, and if it's good for photography, well, that's a separate issue altogether, but very curious to see. How's the footwear holding up? Here it goes. Woo! Oh! Time for some wet socks. Going, still not in there. We're going to film it though. This is your big YouTube moment. Here it goes. Oh! I'll be the one that goes down instead. Gorge is starting to narrow up a little bit here, so looking at the map, we've got to be getting close to hopefully something interesting. It could be really messy though, that's the other thing. It could be quite blocked. There's a lot of tree fall, a lot of landslide debris as well. You can see that here on top of this branch. Look at all the plant life coming off those walls.
It looks almost like water flowing down the hill.
Oh, I bet you that. I reckon that would cascade on a rainy day. Definitely worth exploring. It's going to start going uphill here by the looks, so hopefully we're not too far off from getting a glimpse of something photographic. Anticipation's building and the terrain is getting harder. Yeah, it's getting narrow. Yeah? Oh, the weight of the bag. Hang on.
The bag's quite heavy, yeah.
Oh, I should have taken half the stuff out of it. No. Oh, okay.
I feel terrible if I fell over.
No, it's fine. This next part looks interesting. So we've got a glimpse of the waterfall up there. Could be real messy, but man, we're close. We're gonna find out. So we want to try and get
to the base of this fall. There's no way we're getting above that vertical rock wall. We'll head up around the left-hand side and then we'll see if there's a pool there. Hopefully some nice vegetation. There could be an image, but it's been rewarding to find the fall anyway. Keep going up through the forest to touch more.
Yeah, we're just at the bottom of the next.
Oh yeah. Pretty deep. Next section. You can see it's quite bare and barren, all this side here, even the other right hand side. If I'm going to make an image, I really want to obviously get something nice to complement the fall. The cascades can be one option, ideally some plant life. The wind is a big factor here, look how much they're blowing around. It's going to be a tough one if we're going to try to photograph it. So it's awesome to finally make it here. Photographically this is a challenge. There's a lot of barren landscape all around, not much plant life. Even the angle of the fall is a little bit tricky. I'm gonna grab the bag, head down into the creek. So I really want to get a lot of that fall in, but with the environment. So I'll use a wide angle and we'll chuck the wide on. Let's head down closer and see if there's a way we can utilize the creek, but preferably some of these ferns as well. But up here it's not really the right angle because you're not getting any lead into the background there. You've just got a foreground straight to the background. You want to have that separation between foreground and background. Let's see what we can find over here. Oh wow, cave. Alright, looks like there's a cave around the corner that Ben's pointing out. Let's try to get around. Who knows if we can get in there, but that could be insane. Too deep. It's too deep in there. So we've got the fall, the plants, but there's nothing in the mid-ground there. You need to be higher up, or even if you go higher, there's just a slope, there's nothing. This is where ideally you'd have the river or the pool visible in there, but it's not. This is the perspective, so it's very two-dimensional. I want to show three planes. This up here would probably work, going up the slope and looking across. Then you'd have plants, cascades, and then the whole waterfall. Spending a bit of time now trying to find what could work. When you've been doing this as long as I have, there's no point just settling on something average for the sake of it. I'm only interested in creating an image and holding onto it and putting it in the video if it's something that I'm proud of and feel like holds its weight in the portfolio. Keep looking around. All right, sweet. Let's head around there, guys. We're gonna head over, try climb up where Ben is, and I wanna look through those plants, hopefully to the fall. That could be the shot. You really got to pre-visualize with some of this how things could look from a different perspective.
No, I think it's... Is it real? You're right. Yeah. I don't even know if it's going to work.
So just going up to this upper platform here, it's just a dried out waterfall, but there is that perspective looking through You can finally see the whole height of the fall, the creek and the plant life. Try get this shot and get out of here. It's going to be an ultra wide perspective. So I've got the 12mm, 12 to 24. Leave the bag here because it's very precarious to say the least, because it's all on a very steep incline there. Trying to get into those plants. Let's see what we can do. Not overly confident, to be honest, doing this with the camera now and the GoPro. The annoying thing is, where it flattens out here is not the best angle. It's not the angle for the shot. I need to be back on the non-flat part. But we're just gonna get in now where it flattens out and then work our way back to this point here. There's Ben down there ready to catch us. Now, at least I came up here before. I've got a feel for how this thing rolls, so if I do have to slide out, there's a flat terrace where my bag is, so it's not too dangerous. Enough to get the heart rate up, and it's going to be a very challenging shot here. Oh, there's just nowhere to rest the feet on this slope. The shot is right there above us, so we've got to backtrack now. All right, we're getting there. Need a footrest. This is all I need here. One footrest, and we can make this work. That stick is gonna drive me crazy. We're gonna have to get rid of that branch there. Oh, get rid of that. All right, there we go. There's the angle. We've got the whole fall. Pick up some of these ferns in the front there, and that'll be the perspective. Let's try and get this shot. Doing a focus stack. 2 shots, 2 image focus stack at f16 for that massive depth of field there, accentuating the ferns. I've only got 1 footrest here, which is on this tree. The rest of it is on that very steep drop there. All right, I'm gonna get this shot without trying to film, so I can keep my balance. Tempted to get this tree fuchsia in as well with these leaves, so I'll experiment with that as well. It might overcomplicate things though. So, getting the ferns is great, but I love getting the fuchsia on the left after all. It's just balancing out the frame nicely. But I'm having to do everything one arm like this because there's just not enough support below me to stand up and focus stack it. Just 2 shots at f16, but I'm having to focus, recompose. So it's quite time consuming, and yeah, it's been a challenge, but there's definitely an image here. It's just fine tuning the comp, making sure I'm happy before I walk away.
So here's the horizontal frame. When I was up there shooting, I spent the most amount of time on this composition. I thought this would be the one that I kept. Getting those tree fuchsia leaves on the left there, with the light on them, I thought that balanced out things quite well. I guess the one thing I don't like is on the left of the waterfall, all that open space up there, so the top left of frame. So it's this vertical image here. This is the one that I'm going to be putting in the portfolio. I'm just a sucker for natural frames and ferns. So this one obviously ticks both the boxes, especially that fern coming in on the top. You see how that is filling in that negative space, which we had in the other one. So I just don't think the tree fuchsia was needed. We've got some of the creek in there. You can see that on the left side. It would have been amazing to get more of that, but just from where I was, you just couldn't really see it. Plus, it was very hard to obviously tweak the composition. So anyway, the fact that this waterfall, you know, I don't have a photo of it. I don't think there's a photo in existence of this thing, and the memory itself of that trip, it's a fun one for me, and for that reason it'll end up in the portfolio. And I think it's just a little bit different to some of the other waterfall images that I have.
Let's try and get out of here without... Oh no, here we go. Whoa! So this is not the ideal position here. We're gonna have to slide now and just hope that we land on the flat. Ready, set. Oh. Ooh. All right. Time to get out of here. Ah, this looks sketchy. Hang on.
You okay?
I'll do an arm. Probably that frame there, something like that anyway.
Oh yeah.
Just got to not see how it's got the framing either side, and then the creek in the middle.
Yeah.
And the entire fall is in there as well.
Yeah.
I think it's the best way to do justice to this place. Even like where we're standing now, but it just all the barren mid-ground there, and these plants aren't as interesting as up the top there where you had the ferns. So
Do you have to do like a focus stack on that?
yeah, I had a focus stack, yeah. That's why it was such a pain in the butt, because you're one-handed up there on 1 foot. Like the left leg was hanging down the slope, and then the right one was, I was like sitting on my whole knee basically. And that tree fuchsia that was in the frame, that's what my leg was resting on. And if it wasn't for that, you wouldn't be able to stand up there. So that worked out awesome.
Yeah, cool.
Now the fun part, getting out of here.
I reckon.
Woo!
So it's a pretty non-eventful trip home. Thanks for watching the video, guys. Again, your comments, likes and shares really mean a lot, and they do help the channel. Look forward to bringing you some new videos and adventures soon.